The book I read is titled Signed, Sealed, and Delivered, The Soulful Journey of Stevie Wonder, written by Mark Grabowski. It all started in Saginaw, Michigan, where Stevie Morris was born on May 13, 1950. Born premature, Stevie got the disease retrolental fibroplasia, developed from oxygen-caused irregular blood vessel growth in the eyes, causing his blindness. A blessing to his blindness was figuring out how to use his other four senses more, specifically sound and touch, to play instruments. The piano and harmonica were his main instruments. His harmonica skills are what captivated Berry Gordy, the head of Motown, and the contract was signed in 1961. Here, Stevie got the name Little Stevie Wonder. In 1963, he got his first #1 single, the live recording of Fingertips Part 2.
Clap your hands just a little bit louder. Clap your hands just a little bit louder.
Until he turned 18, Stevie's musical freedom was in the hands of Motown. Therefore, his albums and singles did not always chart as hoped. In 1969, Stevie won the Distinguished Service Award on Employment of the Handicapped, given by the President's Committee. Then, in 1970, written by him and his then near-future wife Sarita Wright, Stevie released one of his best-known songs, named Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours. In 1971, they married, but soon divorced in the autumn of 1973. Then, in 1972, after being granted complete creativity freedom, Stevie released his first self-made album, named Music of the Mind. The next 4 years saw the releases of his best work, Talking Book, also in 1972, which contains perhaps his best-known song,
Superstition, Stevie Wonder.
Intervisions in 1973,
Stevie Wonder for Intervision.
Fulfillingness's first finale in 1974,
Fulfilling this is his first finale. Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder.
And most of all, I like to thank Stevie Wonder, who didn't make an album this year. So.
and in 1976,
Songs in the Key of Life. Stevie Wonder.
which contains a song written for the 1975 birth of his first child, Aisha. 1982 saw Stevie's push to make Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a national holiday, and he helped put together a march in Washington, D.C. After the bill was passed in 1983, the song Happy Birthday was released.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
One of the most important songs ever came out in 1985.
We are the world. We are the world. We are the children. We are the children.
We Are the World featured Stevie and 44 other artists and raised $63 million for Africa. From then until now, Stevie has been relatively out of the spotlight, but he has had several children since 1975 and is, believe it or not, over 60 years old and is a father to young children. The plot to this book was very, very slow during the Motown time period, but sped up once Stevie went on his own musical endeavors, which then made the book engaging. Although it is kind of difficult to critique a biography's writing style, I think the author did a fantastic job. He put just the right amount of details into every page, even though the 1960s seemed to lag and be a bit too much at times.
And the hands just a little bit louder.
Cause I love my baby, love my baby.
Stevie Wonder, in my humble opinion, is my favourite artist ever. I think he's the greatest artist ever, because if you put him up against any other artist, song for song, he trumps. You put him up instrument for instrument, he trumps. Put him up vocal for vocal, he trumps. He is the best artist.
I remember the first time I saw him in person, I almost had a heart attack. It was at the Kids' Choice Awards, and I was sitting near him, and I was like, oh my God, that's Stevie Wonder.
You're beautiful, man. I always so love being in your presence. You're a total inspiration. I just think you are a genius.